almost like if you don't do spirituality that one way or the way that they want you to do it, then you're cast out.
I feel like the people that judge are the ones that are in the community to escape, you know? Because not everyone in the community actually embodies what they do or what they preach in their sessions or what they even stand for.
I attended a Kundalini activation. I don't really know how it aligns with my beliefs.
I don't think the New Age spirituality is completely bad.
I agree. I think it's so easy to go away and isolate yourself, But at the same time, I don't think that really shows you your level of spirituality or growth.
Do you feel your future kids quantumly?
Ooh.
When I mentioned the past life thing, do you think that exists?
Well, if you're talking about a soul that...
If you're not comfortable talking about this, we can change the subject.
This is going deep because this goes into, well, we're eternal then, all part of the same source.
Welcome back to another episode of Decoded Journeys. For today's episode, we're also going to do something different, just like the last episode, I guess. And we're going to record without a structure. And we're just going to have a conversation and we're going to flow with...
Anika?
Why did my brain...
Anika?
We're just going to have a deep conversation and flow with Anika. Welcome.
Hi, Rashed. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, this is my first podcast. I feel like we were just chatting so much before the podcast started. I'm like, okay, should we just get straight into it? But yeah, I've always had sort of a fear of, having the camera on me, public speaking and all of that. So this is a really interesting test to see how much I've gotten over that, I guess. But I'm excited to be here. I love our chats and how time just sort of escapes us. So I feel like we should just try to keep this one short.
Yeah. No, it's fine. We can just talk as much as we want.
Yeah, okay.
In the time frame.
Sounds good.
We were supposed to start at 6.
Yeah.
And it's 6:50 now.
6:50.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But yeah, I think we warmed up our voices to talk.
For sure.
Yeah. Why do you... I want to tap more into the fear of public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
Oh my gosh. It's so interesting because I sort of relaunched myself recently on Instagram, and it's almost been like such a process of putting myself out there, but there's, I think, a few places that it came from. And, in school, I have a softer voice, very gentle, and when you're surrounded by extroverts, when you're in school also, it's sort of that, just kids teasing you and sort of tearing down some of that self-confidence a little bit. And it's sort of, it's just held me back, I think, for most of my life, because it would be like, I would get up and present something in school and they would, it's mainly the boys, but it would just be like, I would just end up stuttering or I would mess up, and I almost then started to expect that people were just waiting for me to mess up. It made my voice go, ooh, close up a little bit. So yeah, it kind of held me back, I think, throughout my life, where it threw my nervous system out of whack. But I felt like before I transitioned into the wellness sphere, I just had issues. It was hard for me to step into any form of leadership and progress because I was always just so nervous. I'd black out. I've tried to give presentations where in front of very important people, I would just black out. and I would not know what I was supposed to be saying, and someone had to jump in and be like, so I think you were saying that. So yeah, it's definitely a real thing that's been a part of my life. So it's interesting to talk about that here right now, because even though no one's here with us and it's just you and me, it's just that invisible, that invisible 100 people that are in front of us right now. Yeah, so I think that's definitely where it came from. I don't know if you relate or if there's anything, but people can be cruel. So I think it develops those limiting beliefs about ourselves.
Yeah.
No, but this is such a cool exercise and practice to do, just to try to bring my voice out, try to just remember that I have so much to say, and we all do. Like we all have that essence and that perspective that is so important to share, because it could, make the difference between someone else also being inspired to share their truth or speak or step into like something a bit greater than where they're limiting themselves,
Yeah.
So yeah, I keep trying to tell myself, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about so much more than me. And yeah, it's just kind of easing into it and expanding our comfort zone a little bit. So I actually really appreciate you for having me to do that, because it's very good practice.
I appreciate you coming.
For me. Thank you.
Yeah. I also kind of went through my own journey with being seen and talking, like during the podcast. Like I could go home after a recording session and meditate and feel so angry and like, why am I doing this? Like, should I stop? Should I delete all the episodes? Should I,
Man,
like, why am I even uploading this? And but yeah, I feel like ever since last year, if I feel like I have to do something, I would just do it and deal with the emotions later. Because why should I create an obstacle in a place where there isn't any obstacles?
So true. It's literally just in our mind and in our nervous system. I think it's the nerve, because I started out with mindset work and really falling in love with just changing our reality, like from a mind first perspective. But after years of that, I just couldn't, the fear of public speaking is such a huge one, because it's like your nervous system just takes over, it's like a physical reaction that happens. And it takes so much mind, like trying to say the affirmations and sometimes tap your way through it. But it really is like a nervous system thing. So yeah, there's no bypassing that for sure.
I remember once, I think I was 17, and we went to this, so it was like a competition, like a debating competition. And I went as a...
My worst nightmare.
That exactly. But I wanted to go to this debating competition with my cousin, but I didn't want to debate. So we both came up with an idea that I'm going to sign up as a teacher.
No way.
And I went as a teacher. I was 17. No one knew. I told everyone I was 23.
So you wore a badge that said you were a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I was judging the students. But it was just me in a classroom judging students. Like just me. And then at the end of the competition, there was a talent show. And they were like, if your name is on the projector, like just come on the stage. My cousin was like, your name's there. So I went up and I didn't prepare. It's not supposed to be me speaking or saying something. It's supposed to be like singing or dancing, because it's a talent show. And then I just went on YouTube. I was like karaoke for some random song. It was like, I don't even know what to say. Like I blanked out.
You blanked out?
Yeah. And I was so nervous that the host was like, so how's your performance going to be like? Singing, dancing. And I was like, perfect.
And was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because only you get to say whether it's perfect or not.
But yeah, that was kind of funny. But
Yeah.
it felt easier because it was in New York and I know no one there.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's true. So I just moved here from New York last year. Or, I mean, I'm a Dubai kid, but I was there for a few years. And I agree. I feel like there's something really interesting about the like complete anonymity of a place where you're like, all right, I can do whatever. I can be whoever I want, you know, I can just like, ugh. So I think that also encouraged me to step into, like, we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about all of these like sort of crazy methods that we both dabble in. But my starting point for that was trying it out in New York. I, attended a Kundalini activation
Oh, that was there.
session. It was there. So I sort of got into all of that there. And yeah, very, very out there. Like I just sort of was like, you know what? I feel like I'm so in my masculine. Like I'm so off balance. Like in New York, I just walking around with so much armor all the time, not feeling safe. That I just wanted to do something. So I thought it was just going to be a meditation or, Kundalini yoga. I just didn't know. I was like, okay, I mean, I've only been to one Kundalini yoga. I don't really know how it aligns with my beliefs at the time, but I was like, I'll try it. And then, yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it. I don't know what to tell you. I just was like, wow, I felt like my body was ready to show me that there was like a different way. So, yeah. Anyway, that's just my New York story of how there was no reputation that I knew, like it was just kind of a free for all of like what you could go explore or try or get involved with. So
why do you think reputation is so important?
That's a good question. To us. Definitely, I've spent my whole life like breaking out of caring about reputation. But it's interesting because coming back to Dubai, I was in that very free mindset, and I was then able to really somehow very naturally just meet so many people without force, just ending up meeting you. Like I met you through inner dance, and that was a very natural progression for me. I wasn't trying to, do anything. I was just on a pursuit of knowledge, really. But I do feel like coming here, there are a lot of people, okay, how do I even start this? So I feel like it's like when you grew up as like, let's say a people pleaser, like there were high expectations of you, all of that stuff. Like you have it in the back of your mind on how something's going to be perceived. And even if you're just like, okay, you know what? Like I've come so far from that, it could still be there a little bit, just a little bit of that fear, And I think it's making peace with that fear, allowing it to sort of alchemize that way. But what I do want to say is coming back here, I found, and even not even just here, but I feel like it could be, let's just say the online community as well, like spiritual community, wellness community. There is such an interesting thing happening where there's a lot of judgment. We sort of talked about this before. And it is almost like the thing that we spent so much time breaking out of, which let's be real, like those of us who, enter personal development, whatever you want to call it, growth, healing, we start out from a place of dissatisfaction where, we came to terms with the fact that, okay, like the society is not for me, like, or at least like maybe that wasn't the initial intention. It was more like there's something wrong here. I'm not aligned. I'm not feeling good about myself. Like I don't feel, like I want to feel more confident. I want to break free of, these judgmental societies. They're so judgy, mainstream sort of traditional societies where everybody has to do the same thing and fit in this box. And that's how you're going to be accepted by the tribe. So then we enter like this wellness community and this spiritual community where I'm noticing the same patterns play out, where it's like all of these people who escaped the confines of maybe, let's say, the homogenous societies that they left, or like they created we created sort of a new community, new society where people think a bit differently and are more open-minded. But I am feeling and finding that there's still this this sort of, and you can see, tell me if you also see this, but it's almost like if you don't do spirituality that one way or the way that they want you to do it, then you're cast out, you know? And I feel like that defies all of it, really. Like, we're all here. I've really strayed from the original point. But we're all here with like a complete unique sort of like, we have unique gifts, we have unique perspectives, we have so much uniqueness. And the whole point is to come back to this very authentic place within yourself, knowing that, you know, you do have a unique perspective and it's okay to be different. That is your gift. Like, that is your medicine, you know? So I think yes, that fear, even though I thought I got over that fear of, what did you call it?
Reputation?
Yeah, the reputation thing. I feel like maybe the past year, seeing that apparently like this energy, this kind of judgmental energy is still quite rampant. It kind of made me go back there a little bit of like, okay, like, oh no, like maybe that small fear came back again a little bit. It's a process, isn't it? It's a process.
I feel like when you talked about the community being judgmental, I
can't say everyone.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Just,
Yeah. Like, there are some people that are, and I feel like the people that judge are the ones that are in the community to escape, you know? Because not everyone in the community actually embodies what they do or what they preach in their sessions or what they even stand for, which makes them judge themselves, and that reflects on judging others. You know, I feel like I use this word so many times with so many guests, the new age spirituality.
I find that a lot of the judging okay, I'm gonna get so much hate for this.
No, it's fine.
But I feel like they're often the ones that are really, really bashing the new age spirituality. They're not there's those new age spirituality, like the dark side of that. And then there's also the people, it's like maybe, like they've identified the issue with it. But like they say, hurt people hurt other people.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't think that people are aware that, you know, like they're discerning, which we all should do, but at the same time, just be mindful of what kind of energy you're creating through that. If it goes a little bit too, you know, on one side, too extreme. So I've been feeling that a lot, I think. I think a lot of it is I resonate with, but I feel like I'm seeing this, a little bit of an imbalance there where,
The answer to what you just said was in what you just said itself. The beginning, you said it's the ones that are bashing. Why are they bashing them in the first place?
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the attitude you have to it. You can talk about something and bring awareness to it, like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
But we're not actually bashing them.
Yeah.
But there are some people that, again, because they probably bash themselves, and that's how their inner dialogue talks.
Yeah, it's projection.
Talks to themselves. Because I don't think the New Age spirituality is completely bad. I
agree.
I think it is a doorway for people to come to the deep side. And what if people resonate with the New Age stuff and don't want to go to the deep side?
I think that's like what you just said. If people resonate with that but don't want to go to the deep side, I think those are the people that, you know, that are being referred to as the ones who are escaping shadow work, you know, the ones who are doing it just for the aesthetics and who aren't fully embodied and who are really, just sort of doing it, like, let's just say
For money too.
for
There are a lot of
money,
people
like
doing
for
it.
ego, like who
Yeah.
knows? Because it feels good, you know?
By the way, can you not move the chair? It's making the...
I was like, what's that noise?
Do you want us to change the chair?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, other than all of that, yeah, I'm just sort of, it's just been quite a big journey since I got back from New York, really. Observing a lot from the sidelines and sort of seeing where my perspective really sits, what I agree with, what I don't. And I think that's just the journey that we're all on. It's just, how do we go about disagreeing? What are we, I think it's just being mindful of how the kind of energy or the kind of echo chambers that we want to create.
Yeah.
Being mindful of like what that can really create, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That brings me to another point that I wanted to touch upon. Is that grammatically correct?
Yes.
Touch upon. Okay. When we mentioned the people that are escaping, there are a lot of people in the... Why are you laughing like that?
I was just thinking. It all comes out of my face.
Okay, yes, sometimes they can escape themselves, but also there are a lot of people on the path that just ditch everything they know. One of them is family, you know, and because it's very hard to kind of show who they really, like who they are now to their families, which I get, but also take them to their families and you realize they're not that healed, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to know what do you think of that and where you...
Yeah. No, that's a really good thing to bring up, actually. I think especially those of us who are from traditional backgrounds.
Sorry, before you even get to it, I was also a victim of this before.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, oh, I'm better off without them. Like they don't understand me. But then I realized that's just the hurt version of me speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like it comes in stages almost, you know? Like you might be at a stage of anger where maybe, you know, for some people, I think traditional psychology might tell you, okay, yeah, just take that space from them and protect your peace, and you can make that choice for yourself. But of course, I think there's a few other factors in here. I think one, I always say like my biggest KPI for how far along the path I've really come, KPI is key performance indicator, is how do I feel when I'm with my family now? How do I respond to things that they're doing? How am I being reactive? Am I exploding the same way, or am I, you know, harboring a lot of resentment or whatever you want to call it? Are they annoying me as much? And I think it's so easy to like go away and isolate yourself, you know, on a mountain. And yes, sometimes we have those phases where we need to do that. We need to really listen to our needs and do what we need to do, you know, to be able to reset and really recharge ourselves. But at the same time, I don't think that for me, from my perspective, I don't think that really shows you your level of spirituality or growth. Like it doesn't, because you're removing yourself from the world. And when it comes to family, it's like also family can be the most beautiful thing as well. Even if you have different ways of doing things and different approaches, it's such an interesting chance to be able to see how you can bring more love just by embodying your truth more. See how your ripple effect can positively impact those in your family who, you know, you never would have imagined would be able to change or see, you know, like a different side of things. And you might even then prove to yourself like, wow, like actually anything is possible just by you being you and just, let's say, having that intention of having good intentions, or having the intention to like be in love and kind of just like having those clear intentions, you're able to see the impact that could have on the situation and whose lives that you might be able to change. Because it's a really tough one. I mean, like, I'm half Pakistani, and we family is everything. Like, family in my culture is something that you can't just ditch. It's like you could you can do anything, but there is like a huge, let's say, responsibility of family. So I think you should honor the journey that you're on with that. And if that requires a bit of time, a bit of space for you to heal from something, I do think that could be fine. That's necessary, but it doesn't necessarily mean forever. I think you just have to keep following your intuition about it. Yeah. Like I always say, like, everything just comes back to following your own inner guidance and seeing whether you're moving from a place of avoiding pain, or whether you're moving, from a place of trying to move towards harmony. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, going back to the time when I was kind of separating myself from, like, the real world, which includes my family, I always found myself saying, like, I'm not understood, or I don't feel like they hear me, or whatever, like, I was feeling at the time. I'm just giving out examples. But then when you actually ask yourself, when was the last time you said I love you to them? Or when was the last time you actually sat down and asked, how are you, to your mom or to your dad? When was the last time you intentionally put an effort to open that connection again, or like reconnect again? And you realize that you are also responsible for the disconnect that you feel, because they might not understand everything you do to the dot, but no one has to. Like, most of your friends probably don't understand what you do, but you're still friends with them. So why is it not the same with your family? We always say, meet people where they're at, but why don't we do that with our families? Like, they're given to us to show us that, and to kind of reevaluate ourselves and humble us, and like keep us checked in a way, and it's not a coincidence that these specific people have the ingredients to trigger you, but also to make you realize, okay, last week I reacted this way, this week I didn't, so
yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh,
to reevaluate yourself.
I think everything happens for a reason,
Exactly.
They are I think the people that we meet, and especially our family, like our family is put in our life for a reason. Like, we're born to this family for a reason. And it's up to us whether we use that as an opportunity or I don't know, blame them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I went to this session. It was like a group session, and we were doing like kind of different activities. And we did like a mother-father activity where we were supposed to tell her, I think it was kind of acknowledge that our mother and fathers love us. And a lot of people were like, but they did this, but they loved us like this, but they hit us, we kept coming up with lots of excuses. And then the facilitator was like, but why did they do that? I know it's such a messed up way to think about it.
Wow.
Like, of course, now we're not going to hit people because we love them. But for them, that was still coming out of love. It's not like they wanted to hit us to kill us. I'm not talking about that 1% of families that maybe do that. But now I'm talking about like, yes, they got angry. But what was the intention behind that? Because they loved us. Acknowledging that it was always love, even though the physical eye or the human mind may see it as they're against me or they're hitting me. What was the initial intention behind it? Love.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the intention? Like, what part of them, the part that is hitting you, or the part that's so angry that it lashes out like that? It's about having a little bit of like seeing past once you've gotten over some of the pain, really seeing, okay, like what is that part of them protecting them from? Or what is that part of them afraid of? or what, you know, like there's always, I always, like in my work and in all of this kind of thing, I work with the idea of parts. Of course, we are whole, but there's this illusion of separation within us where, you know, we have all of these little tiny people inside of us, like these little parts that have a role. And it's just sort of having real compassion for those parts that are the most unlovable, the parts that we've avoided, the parts that are screaming to be heard, screaming to be loved and to be seen. It's like really listening. And it's about, even with parents or with families, like once we start to become more aware, we can see those parts at play within them, like that everything that anyone really does is out of a place of pain or a place of fear, and that there is a soft core. You know, I think there's just a lot of pride involved, I think, with families, like going to that vulnerable place to begin that dialogue and have those conversations. I think that's the hardest part, is letting the walls down. Because we see them as having a certain role or being a certain way, and they see us often as just their children. So it's like when we change roles with each other, it can be a little bit, you know, like sometimes pride gets in the way, or it's hard to soften with each other, especially in from cultures that you don't really, you know, it's not all lovey-dovey and you don't talk about your feelings at all.
But also it's not going to happen in a day.
No,
and also,
definitely.
And also you consistently trying to do that is the biggest KPI for your journey. You know what I mean? Because that's probably the hardest people to show love to, are the closest people to you. And
100%.
when you do that, that's, I think, the one thing that, like, I know there's no destination to the healing journey, but that's a place where I would kind of say, okay, I've done so much work that I can go to my family and say I love you. Because we buy things for each other, we feed each other, we dress each other, but we're not actually expressing it like in a healthy way. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And when I say we, I'm saying
I was like me too.
in general, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's different cultures and there's different families and all of that kind of thing. You have some super affectionate families, but then it's like a different set of issues, you know? I'm not saying there's issues with every family, but sometimes there's a lot of fear there of separation and over coddling and all of that. But yeah, I really resonate with that, actually, everything that you were saying.
I have a kind of a question. I want to go back to something we previously touched on, which was the fear or the people-pleasing thing, that even though you heal so much or work on it so much, there's always a tiny part of it. If it's always going to be there, then why should I do the work?
I wouldn't say it's always going to be there. I would say, I think that anything can. I live under the the philosophy, I guess, that, you know, the subconscious mind is capable of, and the quantum field, like you were saying, we're capable of change in an instant, you know? It's like we can change in an instant. But at the same time, there are certain, because we're layered like an onion, there's different layers that we're kind of going through. And sometimes when something runs so deep, it could be generational, it could be, you know, like all sorts of things. I think that there are more nuances with it, you know? It's not it's not like we categorize, okay, people pleasing. Okay, I decide to get rid of people pleasing and it's gone. Maybe there's different colors of the rainbow of people pleasing, or maybe, you know, so there each one is a slightly different fractal, you know, each one is a slightly different type. So we're kind of exploring as we go throughout life, and we're able to uncover maybe something new information that comes up, like, okay, like I didn't realize that was still there. Now I can deal with it, you know? But at the same time, it's like, I also work in somatics. And that really takes into account the humanity of what we're feeling. So rather than just deleting something or changing something and having that mindset around it, it's also acknowledging really what's happening within from a place of very deep compassion and radical self-acceptance, and being able to release things that way.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to, okay, like almost like getting rid of people pleasing. Sometimes you're just, okay, cleaning that up. Like if you have that mindset, you're maybe bypassing the lesson,
I know what you mean.
you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes we really need to learn a lesson, really, really get it, and really learn the thing even deeper for it to truly release. So sometimes, like again, like that's where the universe comes into play, and sometimes we might still have it for a reason. It might lead us to something, you know? It might lead us to a new kind of level that we unlock within ourselves that otherwise we wouldn't have ever gotten there or found that or met those people if everything had been perfect,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I always say like pain is is a portal to our greatest potential as well.
Yeah.
So
Every emotion when you think of it. Every emotion
every
when you think of
emotion,
it.
yeah. Every emotion. So yeah, with the people pleasing, like it's like balancing, I guess, the idea that we can totally change our life in an instant, but also being okay with taking our time with something to find the wisdom in it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Rather than just going from A to Z, it's like, okay, that's harder. It's a much harder path.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's different layers, different levels, different pieces of information. And if we were all healed and my life was perfect right now, there was nothing to work on, then I would never get to experience any transformation again. I would never get to experience really that feeling of like a miracle has happened, or, you know, that feeling of being ecstatic, or like that bliss that comes from like realizing that it's gone, you know? So it's a game.
Yeah.
We flow with it. Like I say, we keep following our intuition to guide us, and I don't think that we can go wrong.
Yeah. You know, when it comes to the fear thing,
Yeah.
something that kind of helped, this is kind of very out there.
Yeah, hit me.
But something that kind of helped was understanding where the fear is coming from. Because sometimes it's not even mine, you know? Like one thing that I used to do even before the healing journey, when I was a teenager, was kind of give names. This will sound crazy, but give names to the voices in my head.
Ooh.
You know?
You're doing parts work without realizing it. It's like giving a name, or giving a, you know, like giving that piece of consciousness
Yeah.
the floor. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
giving it a persona
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because, like, for example, my dad always wants us to do better and perform better, which is really good. But also, whenever I would do something and I would think it's good enough, I would have that voice that keeps telling me, no, you can do better, which kind of doesn't make me appreciate what's already here, you know? So I used to think that was my voice, but turns out, no, it's not mine. So I gave that voice a name. But also, giving the voice a name is not enough. Like, there's more. By the time, I didn't know anything about the healing stuff, so that's all I did. And then now, also realizing that it may not only be voices that come from our parents, it may be voices that come from a billion other things, because there are a billion other creations. If you know what I mean. You're raised Muslim, right? Do you know what wiswas means? But yeah, I feel like when you know what voice is talking, which is basically what you were saying, intuition or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's sometimes the hardest part for people.
Yeah.
It's like trusting whether those external voices are really you and your inner compass.
But I feel like
Or
deep down we
someone else.
know, but we come up with excuses.
For sure.
You know? And also I feel like it's also being very completely honest with ourselves. That's the hardest
It really is the hardest. I
thing.
think in the whole game of healing and the whole game, the hardest thing is being honest with yourself. It's so easy to blame other things. It's so easy to avoid the truth.
But it gets easier.
It gets easier.
It's like a muscle that you practice. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's easy. Like now I may listen to a thought that's like, okay, have a burger, even though I know I'm not supposed to, but I just consciously choose to do it. But I can know which, like I can know which one is not actually my intuition, you know? Because I feel like there's a feeling when you tap into what your intuition tells you, and it's like, okay, I won't overthink this. I won't doubt it. Like it's so sure. But the other one, like if you get like the waswas or whatever we're talking about, you kind of doubt it. And they're like, what if? But I believe the intuition comes from the heart, and the heart is directly connected to God. And God doesn't question. God doesn't doubt. Other things doubt. So why would you go with the thing that you had to think about 10 minutes rather than the thing that you know deep down was the thing you had to choose? And I'm not saying this like to you, but even to me. Yeah. That's
So
just...
I love that. I'm curious, what do you do to overcome or to move through, or what's your take on... You're like, you shouldn't be asking me questions. I want to ask you.
Fine.
I want to ask you this. When the burger, for example,
Yeah.
you know, like there's a voice saying, eat the burger. Your intuition's like saying something else, maybe, I don't know. And then you're kind of, you know, dealing with like a choice. What, like, how do you approach that? Have you figured out?
I feel like it's very situational. Like it depends when was the last time I had a burger. That's one. Another thing is also, if I get the burger, can I have something healthy on the side? Balance. Or eating the burger but not feeling guilty afterwards, which is even harder. Because the thing that you do is not really the problem, is how you feel afterwards.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about this today.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe like with food even, right? Because I just had my in-laws over on the weekend. And the diet that the kids have, for example, I don't know, just a side thing. I mean, this is not this is not what I usually talk about, but I was just thinking of the idea of families that are raised eating like sugar and all of that. They grow up, maybe they're fine. I don't know, maybe it hits them later in life. You know, but I grew up a very strict household of what we ate. Like my mother was a health coach, so I didn't have like a lot of things. But I was like, well, how come I still have all of these issues, like when I eat these things, you know, and these other people don't. And I was like, maybe it's the guilt that's tied to the thing that we're not supposed to be doing. It's like the guilt, even if I'm eating, you know, like other things right now that most people eat, I feel like maybe I'm sensitive. I don't know. My body doesn't respond the same way, but I do feel like I really feel the impacts of different things. But it was almost this insight that I had where it felt like it was the emotions tied to it. It's truly the feeling of the guilt and the regret and even the shame and all of that starts to create the issues inside of you as well. So I feel like that was so wild that you brought that up, because I was just thinking about that.
And also, this is something that came up when you said that your mom was a health coach. To adults, it's easy to kind of it's easier, like when it comes to like food structure. But when it comes to kids, like for example, my sister, I can't tell her, or I can, but I choose not to tell her I'm not eating this candy because I want to be healthy. Because then she'll feel like because she's eating it, she's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know? Because like sometimes she gives me like a lollipop and she's like, why don't you want it? I'm like, I'm choosing not to have it. Because if I say I don't want it because of the sugar and it's unhealthy, we're making her feel bad. That when she grows up, she'll have an eating disorder.
Oh
I mean,
my gosh.
that's extreme outcome.
That's such a conscious thing to do, though, because you're already thinking like, okay, I don't want to instill her limiting beliefs, you know, within her. Wow. It's given me something to think about as well, because it's like you want to educate other people, but also, you know, it's like you also
Yeah. I mean,
don't know.
let kids be kids. They don't need to think about something is unhealthy. I mean, even though it's unhealthy, they saw it, they were exposed to it. Now you can't take it away from them, or it's still going to feel like something's missing. You know, like there's also another way to do that I'm not even in the mood to do with my sister. Like that's not my job. But yeah.
I love that. I don't even have kids, but I mean,
Yeah.
kids have been...
Do you feel your future kids quantumly?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I feel them and they told me their names.
Really?
And their characteristics.
No, but I feel like I will be a grandmother one day. But meaning like...
You'll jump to just being a grandmother?
Yeah, I already like have this feeling like I'm going to be a matriarch. I have to have a family because I want to be a grandmother to all of these children. But I have friends that feel their future children and they talk to them and they tell them like, freeze your eggs or like do all this crazy stuff. Tell me more about yours. No, but I'm waiting for more information to come to me through the quantum field, for sure. I'm like waiting patiently.
Wait, something I heard today was you are your grandfather's dream and your grandmother's prayers.
I know. I think about that often.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that's like, oh, am I? You know, like, are they up there? They're up there like, I wouldn't have done that. Or she's going way too far.
Are they not here anymore?
They're not here anymore.
I feel like when they're not here, they don't care about the material, physical stuff. They see what you're doing.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of Tyler Henry.
Who's that?
He's a medium on
Netflix.
Yeah. So I've just really like, you know, normal people, they'll like switch on, I don't know, random stuff on Netflix. When I have free time, I literally just switch on medium shows. It just makes me even more comfortable with the idea of death, like the idea of what, you know, me hearing other people's, death. But me hearing other people receive wisdom from the great beyond, it kind of, I feel like I'm receiving that secondhand, you know? So yeah, I'm not a medium, but it really is so fascinating to me.
Yeah. Today I was meditating. I have this ritual that I do. I can tell you later because I feel like I don't want to say it here. But
we all have our own our own stuff.
Yeah, so basically, sometimes I read a book before I start. Not sometimes, just now. I never read books, but this is one book that I like. Anyways, I'll also tell you about it later because it's very controversial. Oh. Anyways, there's a practice that basically says, kind of realize that you never died and never was born. And I just sat with that for like 10 minutes, like realizing we always think like we born, we die. We have one life. Yes, there are some people that think that believe we have separate, like different lives, but they also think of it in like segments, you know. But have you ever thought about just the soul? Like remove all of the born, like death, like have it, just the soul on its own. Like how old is that? And technically, you never died. You never. I mean, you were born, but you were created.
This is going deep, because this goes into, well, we're eternal then. You know, we are all part of the same source.
We are.
And yeah, and this is where people get very, I guess, caught up in the semantics of what that means, you know? Like, ooh, is this crossing that line? But
why would people think that?
Well, like, you know, like, are we...
You can say it, it's fine.
Are we crossing the line when we talk about divinity or what we are, what we're made of, you know?
Yeah.
The soul, if it's eternal, is it...
Out of, like, religion?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the most basicest, is that the word?
Yeah, soul is
eternal.
eternal.
That's the most basic thing.
That's a good point, actually.
I feel like if they don't believe that, then maybe you should relearn your religion.
Actually, thank you for saying that. Yeah.
I feel like that's the most basic thing.
Yeah, that's
even in
true.
Islam, like the soul is mentioned so many times.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about something else. We'll talk about this later.
Okay. Maybe in the part 2.
Maybe in the part 2.
We'll reevaluate and have a meeting before part 2 to see if
Yeah.
everything is... But yeah, do you think, as when I mentioned the past lives thing, do you think that exists?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about a soul that...
If you're not comfortable talking about this, we can change the subject.
We're here. I didn't used to believe in past lives, because I think that was always associated with other faiths, and coming from a Muslim background, we have one life. We are born, we are here, we die, we go to heaven or not. So I think that it was a huge paradigm shift to even consider that. It does like break out of those norms for sure. But I mean, think about it. Like, if our soul is eternal, I mean, there's no telling like where it's going, what it's doing, where it's journeying, and
then like what's deja vu?
yeah, exactly. If we're talking about dimensions as well, like
what are dreams? Where do you go? Like stuff like that. Yeah.
Love dream work.
Me too.
Oof. So it's like, what is all of that,
Yeah.
And I think we maybe even perceive past lives in a limited way. So it's like, it might mean one thing to you and me, but it might mean something completely different to someone else.
Yeah.
So it's just all of these different versions of reality, even though that sounds, really out there probably to a lot of people. But I do believe in all of these different sort of dimensions because we go there. We go there in our dreams.
Yeah.
We journey there in sessions, like you see things as well. And
in Islam, sorry, I cut
oh
you
no,
off.
I would love to. Yeah, tell me.
In Islam, or maybe this was just my teacher's opinion, but I won't say that it's in the Quran, but I learned this in Islamic class, just to rephrase that.
Okay.
The teacher told me that when you sleep, basically that's the closest thing the human being experiences to death. Okay? And you should never sleep when you're sad because you don't know if you're going to come back, because your soul goes out of your body and comes back in the morning. That's what he said.
Wow.
Because we think of past lives like how we're shown in movies, but I don't think what God created we can even make a movie about. Like
I agree.
the word past lives is so limited because we think it's like, okay, this is going to end, something else is going to happen. But what if it's all happening at the same time? What if it's all happening? Like there's a lot of things that a human can't and maybe shouldn't even know.
Yeah. Actually, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah.
Where with our language, with, the way that our conscious mind thinks as well, it's so hard to fathom everything. And really only when you're dreaming, like you are able to go there and you're able to see these things. And if you remember your dreams, it's like there's so much that can be learned, and there's just so much out there, and it's something that you have to experience, as we keep growing and expanding our awareness.
Yeah.
You can more easily, see it or feel it rather than, so I think that's part of the journey as well. It's really like continuing to expand so that we, if you want to, like if you're a seeker, like so you can continue to know what that truth is and to feel it, because it's really hard to put all of that into words.
Exactly.
And people are fighting over words and, like what this thing means or what this thing means when words are it's very limited.
I feel like beliefs are just ways that people connect to God, but I don't think they're really important. Like you don't need to believe in past lives, or you don't need to believe in energy to connect to God. You don't need to believe in, like, you know what I mean?
I know
like,
what you mean.
You can just connect, because that's actually the easiest thing a human can do, but we made it hard. Yeah.
We did. We made it so hard.
Yeah.
And there's so much fighting over it. But I agree, like, it could be somebody who's from a tiny little village who was taught things sort of in one way, completely different way to me or you. And they could have the absolute deepest connection, to God, like even without knowing it even, Because sometimes you have people who also grow up without any faith, without any of that teaching, and
then they find themselves.
they find it. They can find it in nature. You know, you find it in all these places, and so many different ways.
Yeah.
So
because God created everything, so he left kind of clues everywhere for people to find God again. Yeah.
If you look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
So how do you feel now that we got to the end of the podcast?
Oh my gosh, I love talking about God.
Me too.
It's such a good ending.
Yeah.
You know, because to me, you know, I think it all comes back to this. I don't publicly talk about God, let's just say, because there's different people have different, obviously, ways that they're gonna, it might strike a different chord in them, you know?
But I feel like that's not your...
It's not my responsibility. No.
Yeah.
No, but like even with clients and that kind of thing, I don't want to cross anyone's belief systems either. But I feel like...
But also there's a reason why they're coming to you.
Yeah, actually, I love that as well. So I just love that we're going to end on that note.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
On that note.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. I feel like there's a lot more I want to dive into. So I'll keep the door open for a part 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll get a coffee and we'll talk about all of the other things in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Decoded Journeys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on the notification bell to get notified when I upload more videos. Thank you.